Welcome to MyWebUniversity, my YouTube channel. On this video, I'm going to be discussing Anaconda on Linux, Kali Linux version, Kali Linux operating system, and the software which is open source I'm going to be discussing is Anaconda. So let's go through a slideshow and I will just start with this session. First of all, Anaconda is an open source, Anaconda is a company that provides Conda or Anaconda software, which is open source for data science and artificial intelligence and a lot of Python related software, as well as C and C++. So Python in general could do PEP stuff by default, and then Conda could do similar to PEP, an environment that you can do virtual environment as well as installing your sources, whether it's Python or C or C++, you can take advantage of Anaconda environment and that platform. And I'm going to be discussing some of the command lines of Conda, installation of Anaconda software, and then the application, the tools that are coming with Conda, as well as compare it with PEP, which is the default for Python. So you will learn a lot in this course, and this is going to be brought to you by MyWebUniversity, which is my YouTube channel. And this thumbnail will be posted for that one. And when you have time, please subscribe to my channel. I would really appreciate it. And if you make some nice comments, this video is going to be Anaconda on Kali Linux. The next video that is going to be coming is Anaconda on Windows and PowerShell. I'm just going to give you a kind of a view of what I'm going to be covering on a second video for Anaconda, which would be on PowerShell and CPROM, which is the command prompt. And those are the commands that I will be showing you in addition to install Python and Anaconda, and then compare it with PEP on the Windows platform, as well as the PowerShell environment. So you will learn a lot from it as well on this one. But this would be a second video. So the first video that I'm going to be concentrating on this one is this Kali Linux. So without further ado, let me get started. The first thing that we do is I already logged on to Kali Linux environment. This is my browser on that one. Let me move the zoom out of the way here. It is blocking the view. So right here, you can see if I just press F8, basically on this screen F8, then I could say get the full screen. Now I'm on Kali Linux environment. So if I just look at the application, you can see all the security tool of Kali application is available, security tools for the Kali Linux environment. At the same time, there's browser, which I have this Anaconda website. You can see here, I'm logged on the secure port of anaconda.com, HTTPS port 443. So you can see under the downloads, there's two pages, one for Anaconda to download it for Linux, which I'm going to do it on Kali Linux. This time you can do it on Ubuntu, you can do it on any Linux platform. You just have to look at the 64-bit version of it, download this one, and then you could just get started. So once you visit the download page here, which is anaconda.com/download/success, you will see the page comes out with an Anaconda logo, as well as show you these three operating systems that you can install Anaconda on those platforms, which is Windows, Mac, and Linux. On this video, I'm going to be discussing Arch Linux. So you're welcome to install this Linux on Python. I'm sorry, on Linux Ubuntu, Linux Red Hat, Linux Rocky, all of those Linux 64-bit operating system, it will support it. You can do that one, as well as you can do it on Unix, which is Mac OS X and BSD Darwin distribution. So you can do it on Unix as well as Linux, as well as Windows. Windows operating system, we will be also showing you a second video later, but not this one. And this one is covering Arch Linux. And then I have already downloaded this one. So you just, to save you time, you just right click on it, depending on how the bandwidth of your network is. It will may take a little bit. It's 1 gig almost. So you could just download that one and then get it there. So if I just go back to anaconda.org website, you have these search and packages and then all these other ones. I'm going to show you these ones a little bit after the discussion. So at this time, I'm going to just go to the terminal. And then if you just click here, the terminal opens up. In fact, I have already resized the terminal here. I'm going to just tab it and then just go to the terminal here, and then just, this is my terminal. So this background of, what is it? Sorry, the background, I'm going to minimize or close it. I don't need it anymore for the Anaconda website. I could just click on this one to close the browser, and then you can see here that this is my Kali Linux desktop. So this one, I'm going to just put it in the front here so you can see it. And the thumbnail that I just wanted to create was this one. I'm going to clear a screen here so you can see I'm on a host of algorithm, and then cat -m etc os/release. I'm running Linux, Kali Linux GNU rolling distribution, and then the version is 2024.3. So if you look at this one, basically, I just am currently logged on the download directory, which is this Telda download. So the user is root on this one, ID-UN, you can see I'm root. And then since I'm on the download directory, if I just clear a screen, my prompt shell1 shows that I'm logged on as root at the host algorithm, and then Telda is my main directory, which is root slash download in this case, since I'm on the download directory. So if I say, when I say my main directory, I say get in password and then root, you can see that my main directory, home directory is this. You can also do echo $home. That would also tell you that your home directory, what it is. And then if I just, I'm on the download directory, by default, when you just the CD itself, you're not going to be on your download, you're going to be on your main directory. But because I downloaded the software under the download CD to downloads, and then you just do ls there, and you will see that the executable is there. So let me clear the screen again, pwd ls, and then you can see the file is already downloaded on this directory. That download, when you click on it, this .sh script gets downloaded. If you, let's say, file anaconda start.sh, it will tell you that this is a shell script and the POSIX shell script, and so it is available for me. But this download, when it comes out, it is not executable. Sorry, clear screen, ls-l d anaconda. You can see by now I made the permissions to say executable. By default, when you download it from the web, the permission is going to be 644, meaning that the owner has a readable read-write access, and everybody else is having read access only. It is like this. So if you run it like this, it is not going to run. But since the syntax of this one is a shell, like we did the file anaconda and start, you see it as an executable, you could just say yes, it's there. So your bash by default is and echo $shell minus bash, because when you say get end password root, you can see that it is default is bin bash. So bin bash is my shell, which it shows right here that is already loaded at that one, echo $. you will get the same process ID number as this process ID number. So what I'm showing you here is that PWD here, ls minus L, you see the file is not executable. So if I say slash anaconda and press tab here, dot slash anaconda, let me see why it is not listing it, but I could just cut and paste it. So dot slash anaconda, if you just do this, this one is going to say copy in selection and copy selection and paste it at the same time. So you could do two of them at one shot. But notice that it says permission denied. The reason it says permission denied, when you run it like this, it is saying that this one, since I'm the root, I am not having executable permission on it. And then that means that this file cannot run like this. But if you run it with bash and then anaconda like that, and then notice that bash is the shell that I'm just showing you, and then I could just say run it like that. So now it runs this one. But notice some of the information, it says please press enter to continue. I could get it, now it's reading the information for all the license information. Then it is gonna go to a prompt and it's gonna ask you, once you just press tab and or more, enter, and then you just get it to the next page. So once it is all the way to the end, it's a lot of license agreement. So once you get this one, notice that it says, do you accept the license agreement, yes or no? You could do it like this also, but I'm gonna Control C out of it, clear my screen, and then I show you that permissions are not set. I'm gonna change the permission. So say change mode. I could say U plus X, U plus X, and then anaconda. That would change it, or I could say change mode 7 and then 44 or 755 to make it executable by everybody. Now I made it only by user, which means ls minus L anaconda, that file is executable and it has the executable bit set. So if I wanted for all of them, -A this, or I could just do like this, change mode 755 anaconda, and then this. Now ls minus L anaconda, the whole everybody that is root and group of root could execute it, as well other people that are on this system that are not a user root. So like Wahid could log in as well and just run this one. So at this time, we made it executable. And when I do this one, so notice if I do ls by itself, this file is showing in a color like it was showing this. The reason it shows the color because now it's executable. Now I could just say /anaconda and then press tab. And then now it is going to run the script. So I'm going to press that one to install it. And it's going to say, welcome to Anaconda 2024.10.1. So that's the version. It says that if you want to continue, press enter. And now it's going to go through the same set of steps. So I'm going to continue pressing tab or spacebar or enter to just go to the next page. Once it goes to the next page, then I could install it. There's a lot of clicking here, don't worry about it. Just ignore that sound, and then it's gonna come in now. Say, do you accept the license term? Then I'm gonna just type in the word yes. At this time, I'm gonna have to agree to the license in order to install it. So that is going to say that, okay, that's great. Now it's because I'm doing it as root, it is installing it as root Anaconda. I don't want to do it under the root file system. So that means that I have to quit out of this one, Control C exit, and then say switch user Wahid, for example. Now I'm logged on as Wahid here. But the download directory is under root /downloads. And that part is not accessible by Wahid. So what I need to do is that go here, exit out of this one first, copy this Anaconda, and then put it into /home/Wahid, and then I could put it under downloads here. And then just copy that one. Now I copied it. I'm going to just say change directory to home Wahid, and then /downloads. And then once I make sure that that file is owned by Wahid, you can see here, the one Anaconda is owned by root, but still I want to just make sure that I have full access to it. So here you're going to learn another command on the root. Now you learn how to copy the file. Now you're going to learn how to change the ownership. So I'm going to say change owner Wahid Wahid for Anaconda. That file, I just changed it to Wahid, the ownership of Wahid, and then you can see it is changed. So now that if I just do a switch user to Wahid, then I do ID-UN and do a PWD, I'm on this. Now I'm going to go to my downloads directory, and then I do ls-l. There's a lot of files, but if I say ls-ld Anaconda, and then press enter, you can see that file. So the short version, you could say ls Anaconda, and that script is there. Now I'm going to run it this time. It's going to have to install it under home Wahid rather than /root. So that's how you just take care of it that way. And then say press enter. Okay, so at this time I have the prompt. I'm going to say yes, go ahead and install it. And then notice that this time it's going to prompt me on the path to /home/Wahid/Anaconda3. And then I said, yeah, that's good. So by pressing enter, I continue the installation. And now it's going to create a prefix /home/Wahid/Anaconda3 and unpacking all the 1 gig file there, which is all the Anaconda software, including Conda binaries and PEB and Python and everything else. So I'm going to just pause the video when this one is done. Then actually it is done so fast. So you want to see these ones. Some of these packages that are showing it is done, and then downloading and extracting packages. Now it's doing preparation of the packages. So I'll just leave this window on, and then so you can see everything that's happening. Do you wish to update your shell profile or automatically initialize it? So it is asking you a number of questions. You just have to read the last one. You can undo this by running conda init --reverse $shell. And then this one, the default is no, so just go to no. And then now Anaconda is done. Conda init is to install Conda shell function for easier access. First activate and then Conda init. So you can do this one in a couple of steps also. So what I want to do is here, I'm going to go to my current directory, and then I see if my .bash or C got modified. So in addition to doing this Conda init, later you just could do read the content of this one. Notice that cat -n.bash or C, usually if it gets updated, it will be a change there. Since it's November 29, it did not get modified. So I'm saying conda init, and then that will, let's see, conda init did not understand that one. So let's see what is going on here. So conda init would work if you basically do a reset your .bash or C or source.bash or C once. Because I was logged on already and my bash or C did not get source, it was showing conda was not found. But if you do a PWD here and go to your home directory, which is this file.bash or C, and then grep -i conda on .bash or C, you can see there's these lines saying that you have to set up your conda. So the next time I just run it, my conda gets initialized there. So what I mean this one, now on root here, I go switch user Wahid and automatically run my .bash or C here. So that is telling you that I just did a source .bash or C here. And then right here, I could have just be like switch user Wahid here. And then once you're there, you could also do a .bash or C. But when you do that, this dash, that means that while you're switching user to Wahid, also run the .bash or C environment from there. Notice the difference that when it runs the .bash or C, my base package for Conda is going to take the environment is going to take precedence over it. So that is telling you that the environment's there. This one, the bash or C has not run yet. So I could also do source tilde / .bash or C, and that would set my environment as if I did this. And then by doing this, you basically are getting the environment sourced there. So let me just do it the normal way. You could even close this one and open another terminal that would also just bring it for you. But at this time, I'm going to just say switch user -y, and my Conda environment is there. So echo $path. You can see that the $path, now the Anaconda is added to the path. Since it is there, the bin directory is available for me for all that environment here. So if I say conda init, you can see that my initialization, it sets all the conda init for initialization. It just makes sure that all these tools are available here. So you can also see that the .bash or C got sourced. And so there was no change on it, but when that one got sourced, my environment is now conda. So all the command with the conda would work, like conda list would just give me a list of all the packages that are already installed here, as you saw in the thumbnail. So conda list or conda conda, let's say config environment, conda list environment. So we could get the environment, a list of all the channels that are default there. And then if you just see that environment, currently I have file length is the name and then file dot environment. Those two are there. I could add more to it. And then conda config -show, you could see that all the configuration, you will see in that one showing all the list of them. We could all do a lot of commands here, but some of them are very depend on what you need to do, and then some of them you could just compare with pep. So if I just do conda list here, you can see on the conda list it is having these packages there. So if I want to say, for example, is numpy there, I could say conda list and then say grep -i, let's say numpy, and then so I want to see the Python version itself, and then I want to see pandas, and then requests. So any package that you're looking for, TensorFlow, Tensor is good enough for TensorFlow. So any package that are there listed here, you could do search for them. And if it's not there, you could install them. And then the installation is similar to pep. So like conda list is similar to conda pep list. The only difference is pep is the default version for Python. the package manager. Conda is for Anaconda, and then Conda does a lot more in terms of other software aside from Python. But PEP has a very gigantic list of modules that are supported in Python, a lot more than what Conda could provide. Conda also has channels. Channels, meaning that if something is not in the base channel, then you have to get it from Conda Forge or something else. So the one Conda config --add will add that channel for you. So like, for example, I could just see a list of the commands. So conda -h would give you help on it. You can see the list of the commands that are there is a lot, right? Now, I'm not going to cover all of them, but with Conda, you could just activate an environment and virtual environment. Same thing with PEP. You could do that one. So you could run all these commands and then get a list of them, renaming packages, repos, and then search. So search is very useful and that you could do. For example, let's say you say conda list and then say grep -i numpy. So numpy, if it is installed already, you can see that numpy that is installed here. And then we could just say, show me conda search, and then for numpy. So when it shows up here, the name of the channel that it's coming also from numpy, you can see all the version that are here. There's a lot for it, right? So let me just see somehow. Yeah, right here. So if I just go here and say, show me numpy is equal to version 2.1.3, that version only, then it's going to search for those versions. Notice I search for those ones only. And similarly, like if I just say, what is by default the version of Conda that I have here, you could say Conda -- version, it will show you 24.92. Similarly, like PEP -- version in comparison to Conda will give you the version of PEP here. So let me make this window a little bit bigger so it fits on one screen here. So PEP version, or you could get Python -- version or Conda -- version. Notice that commands are a little bit different, but the argument is for all of them or -- version. So if I say, let's create a virtual environment or through Conda or through PEP to compare them. So notice here I could say Conda create -n for name, or -n --name, you could say it, or short, you could say -n for name, you could say my virtual environment. My virtual environment, my virtual env, I could name it. And then I could say, go ahead, create that one. And then I did not specify a Python version. So in this case, it's going to create it. And then the default Python version that was available is going to do that one, which was a Python -- version. The default version was 3.12.7. Since I did this one without the specified version, then it's going to create that environment. So now if I want to just activate my virtual env, I say conda, and then the command would be activate, and then my virtual env is the virtual environment. Notice as soon as I activate it, this one and the prompt changed to my virtual environment. So instead of the base, I'm on the virtual environment here. So if I say conda list here, the list of the packages that are there is very small. So I don't have any one. So if I say pep list, it is it's still going to show you a number of Python packages that are in this one with pep. However, let's say with conda, I'm going to say conda list, and then I say I don't have NumPy there, or I don't have request, I don't have TensorFlow, I don't have any of those ones, right? Those data science or artificial intelligence kind of scientific NumPy, and then a regular expression, all of those Python related packages. So what is the version of Python? If you say Python dash version, this one is saying the default one, the 3.12 here. So if I say, okay, do me a print working directory, notice here, I created that one, but under my virtual environment here, I just have this my virtual environment. So if I say ls -l my virtual environment, you can see under here, let's do a cd to my virtual environment, and then now I'm there, right? So inside the bin directory, you can see it's Pepes is installed already, Python is already installed, Python 3, right? So then these are the ones that activate and deactivated. So when you activate it, basically you're sourcing it, it's running this activate. If you're on a PowerShell, you activate this one. If you're on a C shell, you're activating this one. And if you're on a fish environment, you could activate this one. And then these are the packages, some of them are symbolic link. The actual interpreter for Python is symbolic link to Python 3.12. So when I'm here, I say Python dash version, you can see that it's Python 3.12.7. I could also say pep list, and then say grep -i, and show me the pep as well as Python. And then you can see that those ones are not showing here. Pep list, let me see, Conda list. Okay, so on that library, whatever is on this package, if it is not installed, we can install them. But inside the Python, we already saw the version of Python that is there. So if I say Python 3 here, it's gonna go to 3.12.7. And you can say also import the sys module and sys.executable. You can find out that I'm on the home Python, I'm not inside the virtual environment here. And that is my virtual environment here. And then at the same time, if I just say sys.version, you can get the version of 3.12.7. Version info, you could get the major, minor, and the rest of it. And sys.platform, you could get it, platform is Linux. And then on Windows, it would be NT, new technology. So sys.executable, we already looked at sys.path, for example. You can see the path of this one, where the Python distribution user left. This is coming from system, right? 3.12, that distribution list of this one. So if I quit out of this one and say, that's good, pep dash version, that is also telling me at 3.12 for 24.3.1 on Python 3.12. But notice on this one, if I just say conda install, conda install, let's say NumPy, and then we just install the NumPy. This one is just finding wherever NumPy, if it is not on the base, then you have to provide the channel name. So since it found it on the Python Conda list, you can see now there's more packages on the Conda list showing as a result of NumPy getting installed here. And NumPy is right here. So if I just say, okay, great, now we install NumPy, let's say Conda list, grep -i NumPy, and then that is showing you the NumPy version. So if I say go to Python and then just say import NumPy as np and say np dot underscore version, double underscore is going to tell you that the version is 126 for a NumPy. And then notice that this one is coming from the base there. But if I want to get it from the one that I'm running inside NumPy, this. So this is, notice the difference here. So I'm gonna go to bin here, and then this is Python here. That one is Python 3.12. So if I say run this Python, and now I'm gonna say import NumPy as np, and then np dot underscore version is gonna say 126.4 still. And that is the version of NumPy on this one because it's coming from the system. But sys dot executable, this one, sorry, sys import sys first, and then sys dot executable. You can see that it's now coming from my virtual environment, and that is the one. And if I just do a sys dot version, also telling me that it's there, 3.14. And if I say sys dot path, notice the path is, this time it's going to be the virtual environment somewhere here that is going to be attached to it. Actually, that one is, yeah, my virtual environment right here. So that is attached to that path. And then if I quit out of here, this time I'm gonna just show you, deactivate this one, deactivate. By deactivating, I go back to my base. So I go Conda, deactivate. So that I'm like more on like a pep. Pep, you don't have to put the Conda in front of it, but this one deactivated. So now I clear a screen. I'm going to create this time with Python. Notice that pep list grep minus I numpy. If I have numpy here, this would show that version. And then Python dash version also shows 3.12. So at this time, if I say, go ahead do another package creation, but install the version of Python 3.11 or something before version. Sometimes on development, you have older source code that you just want to test it against another version of Python, another version of NumPy, another version, so you can install a specific version. This is how you do that. So for example, I say Conda create, and this time I'm going to use the dash name instead of one dash n, which is short one. And then you say the name of the virtual environment. I'm going to say uppercase my, not just my. I'm going to say pi for Python, and then say 3.11. So that would be version 3.11. And that way I could say in this one, but then I say is equal, then I say Python 3.11. That way I could get the 3.11 there. So, and then the name already, sorry. No, the name is Python 3.11, and then here Python is equal. This is the right syntax. I just was looking at it to say what I mistyped, and I can tell the name is the Python 3. Then what version of Python you could install it, and then do that one. So now I'm going to just run this one and install that one, and then let's see when this one is done. The name that whatever name that I provide here, Python 3.1, then I could say Conda list environment, and I should have a 3 environment on those ones as well as Conda config and dash show, and this is I'm giving you all of them. Let me just look at one thing here. Clear screen, PWD. So I'm on the base package here. Ls minus LTR, and then tail minus 3, let's say. This is the last 3 that I just did that one. Since I'm still on that my virtual environment bin directory, I want to just exit out. to this. Somehow I must have deactivated, but I was still on my virtual environment bin directory. I hope I didn't create it there, but let me just see. If I did create it there, I'm just gonna remove it. ls minus lpr, and then my virtual environment. Looks like I created there, so my virtual env, and then ls minus l, yeah. No, it's not there. So what did I say? Minus dash dash name. Let me just see dash dash name pi at 311. So let's see where I created the pi 311. I think wherever you have that directory, that's where that file gets created there. So I'm gonna do a find dot minus name pi 311, and then minus type is D for directory. So this will see if that file and the directory got created. If not, I could just create it. Maybe I did not see it. Yeah, it is created under ANACONDA environment. So by default, it goes to your environment under the ANACONDA. So ANACONDA / envs, all the environments cd to / anaconda 3 / envs. And then now I'm there, all the pi3 in my virtual environment are there. So when you do a listing, and then by default, it comes in under your Anaconda path, and then envs is a list of envs. So earlier I did this one, and now I did this one, Python 3.1. So if I just want to activate that one with Python 3.1, let's do this one and say, if I want to activate that one, let's pi 311, notice that under pi 311, and there's a bin directory. So /bin, you can see that all of the binaries are there, as well as activation, deactivation should be there. And then under the lib, there's all the libraries, and then under the rest of them. So under the bin, you should have all the binaries that are there, including the Python interpreter and the pep stuff, and then Conda stuff there. So let's see, I'm gonna go to that environment cd to pi 311, and then ls, and then cd to bin directory. And just to navigate through those directories, you could find out a lot of binaries, a lot of stuff. So pep and pep3, and pydoc and pydoc3, and Python, all of them were there. SQLite 3, and notice how many good stuff are already in the environment for you getting installed. So a lot of these other packages are also listed. And then if I'm on the bin directory and I say /python -- version, you can see that it is telling me the version that I was doing it for, this 3.11. You see that? Now it is 3.11. And the same thing with pep dash version. If I do a pep because of that path, you can see that it's 24 for Python 3.11. But if I do a pep dash version, I'm not saying it run it from the current directory, that runs it from the system. So that is for Python 3.12. And similarly for Python and dash version, that will say 3.12 because that is the executable. So now if I just say, let's say I want to activate this one. Let's see, activate this, sorry. Let me just see where the activation of this one is. And then when you are on the Python 3, so right here, I could do a find minus iname, which is normally should be under one of those directory for activation. So anything with activate and anything with that word, so find it, and minus type is 5. you can see that is under Python 3 virtual environment scripts. So they put it under script rather than under bin. So that is the activation that we could do. And then right here is the one that for C shell, another one. So under the lib Python 3 virtual environment. So let's see under the lib directory, store Python 3. I don't want to go all the way there. I could just say from here and then source this activate here, this path. So this is the full path. You could copy that one and then paste it. And the path is really long. So now we sourced it. Now we're on virtual environment directly here for Python 3.1. And then when you're deactivating it, obviously, you do conda deactivate. So now if I just do pep list, you can see the list of packages that are there within this. If I do a conda list, you can see the list of conda packages that are there by default. So conda, and then this is showing which version of them are there. So if I go with this, say grep minus I Python to see what Python version that we have, you can see Python is 3.12 on this one. That is getting the list from there. But if I say, let's see, find dot minus name, and then just conda itself minus type F, you can see the conda itself is running from outside of this environment, outside of the virtual environment. So when we activated it, we have this virtual environment directly. If I just say, let's do a deactivate, actually conda, and then deactivate. So the deactivate is, let me just do a find on deactivate to see the path of that one also. Normally you could source it and then it should find it. But I'm going to look for this deactivate, and then that's not there. So conda deactivate. And that is saying that deactivate is not there. So deactivate, I mistyped it. Deactivate, and now deactivated it. But now virtual environment there is still my path there. So I'm gonna do another conda deactivate to get out of that environment also, and then conda deactivate. And see why it's not going to the main directory, and it's still virtual environment directory is activated. So I must have done a deactivate for that environment, and then let's see pep list. Since I'm on the virtual environment here, I'm gonna deactivate that one, and then in order to do that, when you type in conda, and then basically the virtual environment name. So in order to get the list of the virtual environment here, you could say conda info dash envs. That would give you the list of the virtual environment. And since I'm on this one, I could provide the whole path when I activate it, or just deactivate it. At this time, I have not activated anything, so I'm on the base one. So let's just activate one of them. I'm going to do a pwd, and as you can see, I'm already on the top directory in Python 3, so I can type in lower number of characters here. So I could say activate Py 311, that will just run the activate and then just activate it for me. The prompt did not change, so that means it did not do it. Let me just do the entire path, and then which was running this activate here, conda info, on this, and then I'm gonna say conda activate followed by and this full path. Let's try that one. Copy and then paste selection, and then run this one. Now notice that my prompt changed here. So I could say now deactivate conda deactivate. It was deactivated. I'm back on base. But another way you could do it is spy 311, and I could say conda. Since I'm already on the path of env, I don't have to cut and paste that one. I could say conda activate and then say dot slash pi 111. That means relative to where I am, find out that the activate, and now it is activating that one. And then here, when I just list a conda list, I can do those ones that are part of this package here. And then I believe this one was 311. So if I do a grep minus I for Python, then you can see the Python 3.11 is there. At the same time, I say Python dash dash version, you can see that it is 3.12, but it is not running from the current environment. So in order to run it from the current environment, and then I could just say under dot slash pi 311 slash bin, and then I say run Python dash 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 version, and that would show this one. And if I run the same one here instead of the Python dash dash version, I could just say import a sys module and sys.executable. You can see that Python 311 is the binary that we got it from, and the Py 311. Similarly, sys.platform would show you Linux, and version would give you the version, and then a version info will give you the detail of major and minor. At the same time, let's look at the path. The path now should have the Python 311 for this one, because I said which one to run there. So that shows you that. And then at this time, if I say conda deactivate, now I'm just back to my base here. So what does that mean? That means that if I do conda info itself, I get a lot of information about conda version and then the environment and everything. If I just want to get only the environment information, obviously I could put that dash dash envs, and it will tell me that I have those ones. So if I say I'm on this directory, now let's source my env, I could say conda and then activate and dot slash my envs. My env. That one is going to activate this environment. No conda environment. So I must have typed it my virtual env. So my virtual, I mistyped the V in there. Now my virtual environment sourced it, and I'm inside there. So now conda list here, it will show this one was Python 3.13 actually. Let's see, grep minus I Python version, you can see it is 3.13. So inside here, if I do a Python dash dash version, that's run from the system. That's 3.12. But if I want to run it from the virtual environment, which is dot slash my virtual env slash bin slash Python, that is going to show the 13. And then at the same time, notice that if I go this one and then try to find out the executable, I'm going to say import sys there, and then at the same time, let's see, we're gonna get the version. So that needs an object name here. So dir of this one is there. The executable is, this case is Python, and then $sign underscore name will show us the main, and then dot underscore version might give us the detail now. So I'm going to get the underscore main to see what this main is named. Print, yeah, name as main. So when you check for the package, that's what that one will show. At this time, let's do import OS, and then os.system. Let's clear the screen here. I'm going to say import a sys module, and then sys.version is going to tell me the system version, which is for the Python executable. So in order to get the Python version, you actually load that this one, the sys module, sys.executable. You can see it. So you don't do underscore version. That's for the version of the object that you want to do. Let me show you what I mean by that. So here you can see it is Anaconda virtual environment. My virtual environment Python 3 is there. And then sys.path also tells you that the path is at my virtual NV environment, all the libraries there. And then sys.platform obviously is Linux, and then sys.version info is going to give you the major minor. 3.13 is the major, 3 is the major, and minor is 13. So at this time we show you what was there. Let me just do import OS, a clear screen here. I'm going to say import NumPy as NP. If NumPy is available, dir of NumPy will show the all modules and methods and attributes that are available here. And so by doing this command here, I could say NumPy. Now NumPy and dot underscore version will give me the NumPy version. Remember the sys dot version would give you the version of the Python, because that was there. But since the object is NumPy, now it is there. So I could also do like this and say, and instead of this one, I could say list, and then grep minus I NumPy. You could see that NumPy version is going to be from the system. And then this one, if I want to get the version of NumPy from Conda, let's see, Conda, it is 2.1.3. That is the Conda version that we are looking for. For PEP, it is outside of it, right? There. So NumPy, that's the one that we want to do. You can also go from the path that they are there. So if I say import a request, then a request is not there, maybe. No matching modules request. Yeah. So I could even install it from here, and instead of doing this, I could say Conda. Don't get it out of Python. Conda install requests. So this will install request module for us, and then we say yes here. And now when we say import request, this time it will work. So requests dot underscore version underscore, it's going to say 2.32 this. Same thing if I just say conda less, and then look for the grep minus I request, you can see that the version is showing 2.32, the one that we did. So every package that is on the system, you could do that one. And at the same time, if I just say install, let's say for this one, instead of install request, let's install pandas. So all the data science modules that you could do, whether you're doing data sets or some kind of NumPy computation or TensorFlow, it's available for you, and that they will get installed using those packages. So now I have installed that one. If I say, what was the package? The package was pandas. So now pandas is showing 2.3. So I import pandas as PD, and PD dot underscore version will tell you the version 2.3. So whatever object that you loaded, you can get those this dir of these objects that are available or relative to the object that you're looking. So PD dot underscore doc will just give you the doc for pandas. And similarly for NumPy, you just change this one to NumPy and then get that one. And obviously you could get help on them also, PD like this, that you could just get a very clear one rather than just those end of line characters that you have to translate. Similarly, help NumPy, you could see that. So a lot of the things that what you're learning here, you could just, for example, let's say you create an array and say NumPy.array of 2-dimension. Well, let's do 2-dimension of 1, comma, and 2, and then also comma 3, comma 4, and then one more row. We're gonna just add 3 rows, 2 columns. So that is and then 5 and 6. So it's a 2-dimensional array of 3 rows and 2 columns. You just could create this one like that, and then now close the bracket and then close this one. Now A is an array of NumPy. So type of A is, you can see, is a NumPy dot dot number n-dimensional array. And then A dot shape will say it's a 2 by 3. I mean 3 rows and 2 columns, 3 by 2. So if I say A sub 0, obviously it's going to give me the first row, and A sub 1 will give me the second, and then A sub 2 will give you this, and then A times 10 will just give you multiplication like a vectorization, element-wise vectorization. Like if you wanted to add on it, do that. Get the square root of it. So there's a lot of things on them. I'm not going to teach you Python or NumPy. Because we're on limited time, so I'm going to cover enough what I could show you, and then obviously you could watch my other videos for those environments, and then from time to time I may jump into requests or pandas or TensorFlow or something. But if I didn't cover it, just look for videos that later on is going to come, because it's really hard for us to just have a thumbnail, one thing, and get off of the topic and cover a lot of other things, which I have already done, and a lot of people, I get dinged for it, and people say it's a little bit, it's a very good video, but a little bit off of topic. Yeah, I understand, because I don't know exactly what you're interested on, so I'm trying to just help out as much as possible. So stay tuned and learn the environment. IT, information, technology, and computer science is something so huge. And whether you're getting a drop of the ocean or a bucket of the ocean, is up to you. How much you want to learn on the environment. None of us are perfect. We all learn. Every day technology changes. We have to keep learning. The technology is robust and dynamic, and it's changing. It is us to just to stay on top of it, that by learning more and more every day. So this was the virtual environment. Another thing that I could do on the virtual environment, and just say deactivate this virtual environment. So I say Conda deactivate, and then now I am on the base. So if I say Conda and then info dash envs, you can see I have these envs, but if I'm on the base here, this is my base. So Python dash dash version, this is the version of the Python. Python pep dash dash version is giving me that version of pep. Similarly for 3.12. And then I showed you 3.11 and 3.13 also on those ones. By default, my virtual environment was 3.13, and then I just downgrade to 3.11 because you might have an environment that's a little bit older than the current system. So you could do that one. And then this one is the system that at the time of installation of Kali Linux, so when I did the Kali-Linux-large module, that package installed the 3.12. So basically, this is app Debian, app list Kali and -Linux-large was the package that I installed last time. And you can see this is installed, and that one contains this Python version and pep and all those other sources, C, C++, GCC, and everything. So at this time, if you are on the base, how do I know what are my channels? So you could do a clear screen. Because we're on Conda environment, you could say Conda config -- show, and then say channels. Channels, this is going to show you your channels that are currently running. By default, your default Conda, which is the base, which is the main, does not have much available for you. You can do a little bit of these packages, but sometimes you're looking for some packages that are outside of it. So Conda-Forge is one main one that could have a lot more ones. In order to do that one, you could say Conda config and then -- add, and then channel name, channels, and then after that one, the name of the channel, which is Conda-Forge. This is forging or forking off or forging other modules that are listed. Now, since I did that one, the channels now as Conda here. What does that mean? So if I say search for Conda, search command for ANACONDA, just search for ANACONDA. So it looks for every packages that are named with ANACONDA. And then you could also do on the search, you could also do regular expression. And then you could say version of ANACONDA is 2024.06 or something. You could search for that particular one there. So like here, you could say for is equal 24.06, let's say, or 05 or whatever. That 24.06. So if you search for a particular one, it's listing only the one that are matching here. Similarly for like a Python version. So you could also do a regular expression, meaning that you could search with something like this. So if I just say search for, let me just erase this one. I could say, and the name of the package is start with. This anchor means start with. So I'm going to say Python and then $, whatever version it is there. $, meaning that I don't care the rest of them, saying that match any character that are Python. And then that would just look for Python that are 3.1, 3.2, 3.6, 3.11, 3.9, whatever version that is matching on it, it will list those ones. So that's going to cover a lot of the Python packages and that are matching with this one. But notice that the channels that are showing here is coming up here. So if I install it, sometimes if it doesn't find it on the base package, then it's going to look for the Conda-Forge package. Because earlier I added those package on my list of packages to be added. This is taking forever. Look, 3.13 and then all the way to there. So I searched for a lot of them and then That's why this is taking. Notice the channel name that is either package main or Conda Forge. So if I just was interested only on 3.13, there I could also say start with 3.13, and then after that one I don't care whatever the rest of the string is that is going to. This is going to be a little bit faster than earlier search because now we say that exactly which version you want and there. So it says actually no match found search for Python. Let's do this one. And we say Control C out of this one, Control C, and then sometimes when you do Control Z, it will finish faster. So that is suspending that last command. Python, I'm going to search for Python. Search for Python is equal that version 3.13. If it is going to be that specific version, you can search it. Notice that all of them that are showing up is 3.13, and this is how you search for a particular one. And then at the same time, when you install it, you could also do that there by using, instead of search here, you could say just install. That would just install the latest version, Python 3.13, and then you could save like .1, just so it will just install that version. And then when you do something like this, it's gonna just go find this package 3.13, and it's gonna just prompt you, say, do you want to install it? Because I did not give a -y option, it's gonna prompt me. If I want to install it, I say yes. If I don't want to install it, I say no. So if I want to continue staying on 3.12, then I obviously say no here. But it is right now trying to find it. Since it finds it in multiple area, it's going to look at the main first. If it finds it on the main, it's going to install it from the base. If it is not finding it on that one, is going to look for the version that we wanted from the Conda dashboard here. This command took very long, so I'm going to stop it. I don't recommend doing this version of it because of the packages that are having a little bit conflict and it's taking forever. Maybe it's my network or whatever. I'm gonna stop it and then clear screen. So don't do this one if it is taking forever for you. You could just say Python and then when the version is there, you could just install it from that version. Maybe because of the double quotation, if I just say 3.1 like that, the double quotation should not cause a problem. But if it did, just take the double quotation and just run it like that. It looks like it is doing it faster now. Yeah. So double quotation, somehow it was causing the issue to slow it down. But now you know that it is done like that here. Okay, this is Python search, and obviously Python install might take a little bit longer. But let's see if a Python install does it. Looks like it is solving faster this time, but again, once that package is resolved, then we know that it was fast or not. Looks like it is slow. Yeah, it is slow. This is also taking very long. So something is wrong with the ANACONDA Forge and Conda Forge, or those channels are maybe not available or something. That's why it's not resolving it. But if it solve for you, then just do it. I'm going to Control Z out of it, so I don't have to do it. Python dash version 3.12 is good enough. So remember the channels, you could say conda config show and then channels, and these are the channels that you have there that is searching. Again, if you do conda search for let's say like a TensorFlow, you could say tensor dash flow, and then you could see that when the search is running, it's going to show TensorFlow version on multiple channels or just one channel that it finds it. If it's not on the base channel, obviously, you have to do it on the Conda dashboard or some other channels. So in order to find out all those channels, you can also go to the website, and I'll show you that one next. At the same time, you could also install Anaconda, and by Anaconda installation, you could also get a lot of application such as Jupyter Notebook, Jupyter Lab, Visual Studio Code, on my PyCharm, and then the Spider. There's a lot of them. So you can see that for this one, when I did the TensorFlow search, current channels are there, and then it's search there. It is also telling you to just do provide an Anaconda package you're looking for navigation to search alternative channels. You may provide the Conda package you're looking for. So that is another way you could do the search here. On the same time, if the package channels that are not found there, then you have to say dash channel, and then the name of the channel that TensorFlow or the package is found there. So for example, if you say this one for, let's say NumPy package, NumPy, then you can see that the search is going to find multiple channels that are providing this one. Similarly for TensorFlow, the package that are there, notice all these channels that are there. If it finds it, then you have to say which channel you want to install, which version, then you can select on the options here. But I promise you that I'm going to show you on the other browser also the NumPy, I mean not NumPy, let me just do a full screen out of this one so I can see my browser. Right here, Anaconda website. This is not the Anaconda we're talking about. We're talking about Anaconda like this. So if I go on this is my website on the YouTube channel that you are welcome to join. And then these are the books that I wrote for online for teaching you Linux and Unix and Windows and other things. So let's go back to this screen here, and I show you the Anaconda website. Anaconda.org. I'm not affiliated to Anaconda, and I'm not a member of the community, but I want to just bring you Anaconda website here to show you what is this company is all about. Basically, it says that somewhere here on the about page, it says that there's a bigger community for it, and everybody is trying to contribute, and then for machine learning, and then data science and other related projects, you can get a lot of these modules for Anaconda. Anaconda is the company that does Conda and other software. One of their main product is Anaconda Navigator, which has a lot of applications and a lot of tools. So you can download the Anaconda from this download page that I showed you. So if I just click on the skip and download, and this is the list of the packages that are available for Windows platform, for Mac platform, or for Linux, which I already showed you this one, and I download this one to install it. For Anaconda, for the navigator stuff, I don't want to just cover it on this video because this one is going to be all command line, which I did cover mostly. But if you want to just install Jupyter Notebook, obviously you're already in a graphical interface here. You could just install Jupyter Notebook, Visual Studio Code, and anything, Visual Studio, PyCharm, all of them on this environment, you could just install it through this. You don't have to do it under Conda. If you want to do it under Conda, install Anaconda, get into the Anaconda prompt, and then just run Conda space Jupyter Lab, Conda space Spider, Conda space Jupyter Notebook. But at this time, it's too much for me to just cover all of that one when I have already covered those topics on Windows platform as well as Linux on Linux Ubuntu, Red Hat, or some other ones, including the I'm sorry, not Arc, Kali Linux. When I did the installation, we did install Visual Studio Code here. So if I'm not in this environment, let's say I go out here, and then here say clear screen and say switch user Wahid, I'm on the base pack environment, I could say which code, I'm sorry, clear screen, yeah, code is already there. So I could run code here, I don't have to get into the base package here. Code is not the binary you may be expecting. You're looking for code dash OS. So in this one is actually, I had done it outside of this. So let me see which code, and then code user, then code. Yeah, so that was the environment. I did not do it under the Conda. And why would I just need another environment when I have the whole IDE under the operating system? This is much faster. So by opening it under Conda and then just installing it there, the IDE will help you that the tools that are there, but you're just going one layer down when you can directly access this. The I/O and the input output is going to slow down that way. So I don't recommend installing these applications under another environment there. So in order to just use it, you basically use it there. So which Jupyter Lab, sorry, Jupyter Lab, let me see which Jupyter, it's there. So I could say user Ben Jupyter dash lab is argument for it. Sorry, user Ben and Jupyter and then space lab as an argument. You just run that one and it is going to open up a browser for you and then start running Jupyter. Notice it says that you're running it at that root, which means it's right. I have to log in as Wahid and then run that one, say which Jupyter. Now it's this ID-UN is there. And then notice that the Jupyter, I have also installed it under Anaconda. So I could do something like that by running it in this one, copy, or just go to, let's say, at this time, I'm going to say, since it's already there, I'm going to say this one, Jupyter Lab. And that would just automatically look at this path and then open it under Anaconda directory here. This one will open the localhost 8888. So now this is running, so you just have to go on port localhost port 888. Colon 888. And then Jupyter Lab is now available here. And then obviously I could practice it, I could start it and other ones, right? So that one would do this one. 127.0.0.1 is also localhost. So you could do Jupyter Lab that way too. And then Spider and other ones are as well there. So Control Z out of this one, say get out there. I don't want to work on this one and say which Jupyter dash notebook maybe. Notebook is Yeah, Jupyter Dash Notebook. So I could type in Jupyter. I said I'm not gonna show it, but unfortunately, when I did it already, the environment is set for me because I did a Conda install Anaconda, and by doing that one, installed all of these environment. Again, this one is also going to localhost port 8880, so you just have to go to the browser and say HTTP localhost port 888 for 8, and then that will open up a Jupyter notebook, and then you could run the code here. And you see Jupyter server list. A lot of these ones are already available for you. You can set up your environment and then just say new tab, and then just create your tab and do those stuff. That was actually not this, and this was supposed to be here. And then under Jupyter Lab, password or token, login. So it's asking for login information. I'm not gonna log in. I don't want to test this at all. Don't need to. So I'm going to exit out of this, and then I think we covered enough, and you're welcome to just watch for those other applications, because when I say I will not just test those applications inside Conda, I'll use it outside. I will have to set up my environment not to use that base by default. So this is something that it's already sourced on the .bash or C. If I just want to exit out of this one and I say, don't go to my bash or C, I could say switch user Wahid. This will just go to my prompt without being in Conda. So on that one, then it's not gonna do a Conda initialize. That way I could just do all the commands with the regular stuff, whether I start Visual Studio Code or Jupyter or PyCharm or any other application that is going to set up there. You notice that my prompt is not base at this time, it's Wahid algorithm. So ID-UN is there, which code is going to show that user bin code, which Jupyter Lab is going to show that it's not installed in here. The other one, which what was it? Jupyter Dash Notebook is not showing either. So in order for me to install them, I have to do a apt install Jupyter Dash Notebook or apt Python Dash Jupyter and so on. So I have shown you on the previous video. I'm done with this video. I'm going to close this one. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. And if you have to make some comments, please be nice and don't just discourage me. And if you want to discourage me, that's fine with me also. I don't get discouraged easily. You have to have a good point in order to discourage. But if you enjoy learning it from it, please share it with your friends and loved ones, and that way we all could help each other. Take care. God bless you all. Bye-bye.